All right, welcome to another episode of the Fantasy Football MBAs. That is matchups, breakdowns, and analysis. It's your boy Steve, and
All
I'm
right.
joined by my homeboys.
1/3 of the trifecta. T. Campbell online.
Eric J in the house, getting ready for
Okay,
week three.
y'all boys ready for week three?
Is the NFL ready for week 3?
I
That's a
don't
better
know. I
question.
don't know if the NFL's ready for week three.
I don't think so either. It's
I
probably not
hope
the
y'all.
replacement.
I hope y'all brothers got some of y'all waiver wire picks or somebody y'all hope to get. So
Yeah, man. This
okay.
is this is what we predicted.
The
I mean,
apocalypse.
less
Right.
injuries this week, hopefully. I need people to stay healthy, just for.
All right,
It
we'll
ain't
see
gonna
how it
happen.
goes, man.
It ain't gonna happen. More carnage. More carnage.
Man. Well, this is our we're actually breaking this up into two parts. This is part one of our week three starts and sits. And we'll cover about half of the games and then we'll cover the other half in part two. So let's go ahead and get started with the Thursday night game. We got this exciting game between the Miami Dolphins and the Jacksonville Jaguars.
The
Um,
battle for Florida.
the battle for Florida, man. Um, EJ, I think this game might have, this might be one of your, you may have more vested in this game.
Yeah,
So I want you to kind of get things started here on what
sure.
you may be
I'm going to
concerned
talk
with.
about my guy LaVisca Chenault again. I got
Okay.
to bring him back up. I'm definitely one of the leagues I have. I have a whole bunch of wide receiver injuries, so I got to play him. And I was lucky enough to get Keelan Cole, so I'm gonna
Okay.
play them both this week. Mike Thomas still shaky. Cortland Sutton gone for the year. And then in my other league, Godwin is supposed to come back, but
Yeah.
I still don't know. So I'm gonna have to play both of these guys, and I'm
Yeah.
gonna need them to do a good job. I think they're gonna be all right. They're at home, for whatever that's worth in this
For
league.
whatever that's worth.
So I would play them both, and I would even, if you need a quarterback, I mean, Gardner Minshew, he's been
Yeah.
better than I thought he'd be, and I think better than a lot of people anticipated. So I think you could start all three of those guys, depending on what your team looks like.
Absolutely, man. I'm actually starting Minshew in two of my leagues. I'm all aboard with Keelan Cole and Laviska Chenault in this game as well. And T. Campbell,
My guy.
James Robinson.
My guy.
Yeah, man. The brother with the old school name, man. Like,
Right.
yo,
James Nolan Melvin Lewis Robinson.
yes, you know that boy can run.
You know it.
So
it
I'm
he
rolling.
got the name like he done worked a double shift at the GE plant overnight. You know what I'm saying? You know that man got
And
the run.
then play the football game.
Right? Two families, two different sides of town.
Oh man, yeah, I'm rolling with those dudes as well, man.
Yes,
Miami
sir.
has not proved that they can really stop anybody at this point. So
Yeah.
as systems go. On the Miami side, who do y'all like? Do y'all like anybody?
Gaskin, maybe.
Gaskin, yeah, I'll roll with Gaskin.
I mean, it's like I said in the preseason, man. It looks like Miami just doesn't know what they are doing with their franchise. I don't know if this is like a COVID write-off for the billionaire that owns the Miami franchise. It's like, look, we need to make this team as less profitable as possible. We need to write this whole 2020 off for this thing to work right. And they again dismantled the team, shipped off all of their best key skill players. Um, I don't know what they're doing. So
Yeah,
no, I don't like hardly anybody there for my fantasy team. I mean, obviously, if you're in dire straits, that they're
I'll roll with Gasicki. I'll roll.
yeah, it's like one or two guys
Yeah.
that
Okay.
I would rock with. That's it. I mean, tight end, he's doing his thing. He looks decent, but I mean that if your leading receiver is the tight end, there are other issues at play.
Right.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Count down to Tua, man. Count down to Tua. That's all I can say.
Trying to tell you.
Go ahead. Like if y'all are desperate for, if you drafted Carson Wentz or Jared Goff or somebody like that, y'all might want to just think about the future and stash Tua for now.
Well, it's coming.
It's coming, man.
We'll have a counter up in a couple of weeks. Like, well, it might even last that long. Like, we're just gonna shake things up. We're gonna throw them out there for a spark, shine the arm.
Right. Yep.
You know.
Yeah, man. But EJ, you can go ahead and take this next game here, man.
All right. So first, jumping into Chicago and Atlanta. I'll start off with the Chicago. And I have Robinson as a receiver, but I'm telling you, like, the way Trubisky plays, it's really starting to, like, give me some worries about their passing game. I had to play Anthony Miller last week.
Oof.
And he did nothing.
Nothing.
The problem is Trubisky is so erratic, it's starting to affect his receivers. So I think you can still play Robinson in this game just because they're playing Atlanta, and I know Atlanta is going to put up points.
Yeah,
so,
and they're going to give up points too.
Yeah,
yes.
So, I mean,
in the fourth quarter.
So just by virtue of the fact that they're going to score a lot, I know Chicago's going to have to throw the ball. So I really only like Robinson, but I really like Montgomery out the backfield.
For sure.
He had over 80 rushing yards last week, and I'm pretty sure he scored a receiving touchdown as well. He looks a lot better than he did last year because he was kind of one-dimensional last year, but he's taken his game to the next level. So
he looks great this year.
I think those are your two best bets for Chicago. And as for Atlanta, I would play – I like Matt Ryan, Ridley, Gage, and I'd even play Hurst too if you really need him. I don't know. Their team is just explosive. I think with the receivers and the tight end, you can't go wrong.
Right.
I think Matt Ryan, he'll probably throw 3 or 4 touchdowns. Whether or not they win the game,
I know, in the first half.
But I think for fantasy purposes, I need some more Falcons players on my team because they put up points.
Absolutely.
Yeah, as long as it's not Gurley.
Right. Yeah, he's just looking pedestrian. He's not looking terrible. It's just the fears were realized if you were a Gurley owner. You're like, I don't know, man. They didn't show much of footage of him in training camp. Maybe they're saving him fresh legs. It's looking like worse fears realized. But to jump in there, it's looking like Julio re-injured that hamstring. Again, the reports out of Atlanta are looking like, he may go, but he's not gonna be a go. So to your point, EJ, man, like Hurst, Gage, and definitely, I mean, there's no one in the world that wouldn't play Calvin Ridley at this point. But
right.
Yeah, those Atlanta wide receivers are looking good even with Julio out.
Right, and if I hope they don't try to play him. I like the way they're talking.
They will.
Like they're not. But if they do,
they will.
I'm not starting him. I'm not starting him.
Here go the thing, man. And this is not the Atlanta Falcons podcast, but I'm gonna go ahead and say the most unbold prediction. They lose this week, Dan Quinn has to lose his job. I don't advocate for a man to lose his job, but maybe he just needs to go on break forever. So, just go to the break room, but don't ever come out like that. Do that. I got something in the parking lot to show you, and then lock the doors. That. But it has to be a wrap for Dan Quinn.
For sure.
Agreed. Anything else in this game?
No.
All right, moving on. So we got the Rams against Buffalo. And I'm going to just start in terms of the Rams and who they got going this week, Buffalo can be scored on this year,
Yeah.
which is something that I didn't really, I thought, Buffalo's defense would be a lot like it was last year. And maybe they just haven't, kind of picked it up yet. Um, but I think if you got, some Rams players, I really like Higbee this week. Um, he did well last week. And I know Gasecki, like he tore the Bills
Yeah,
up
he
last
did.
week. So I think it'll be much the same. I like Cup this week. The only person I'm a little shaky on is Woods this week. Because sometimes top receivers against the Bills don't do too well. And if they have a game similar to like last week, I think it would be better to maybe go with like one of their secondary players like
Right.
Cup.
Mhm.
But I think his name is Isaiah Ford. He killed it against the Bills last week, whereas some of like their other receivers on Miami didn't do as well. So I might shy away from Woods, and I think I'm going with Higbee and Cup. If you're playing against Buffalo this week,
For sure.
because they can be scored on. And then on the other side of the ball, I like everybody pretty much on Buffalo. I mean, I never
The
thought
running backs.
I, I have Singletary, so I mean he's not going to be what I thought he might just be a flex for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
I don't see him as a RB1 or RB2 anymore, just because
Right.
of the way they play. And the light skinned Cam Newton, he reigns supreme. He's running, he's
Oh,
throwing. So he's going to take away from your production. But I like Allen, Diggs, Brown. And if you're desperate, I think you could even throw Beasley in there. I think he had 5 or 6 targets last
Okay.
week.
Yeah. Yeah.
I never thought I'd be saying the Buffalo Bills have a dynamic offense, but
Never.
it looks to be the case this year.
Yeah.
yeah, definitely got to give a retraction on when Diggs, when they signed Diggs, I was like, that's not gonna work. That is not gonna work. It's working, and you were saying like, why would he go somewhere where there's, when he was in Minnesota, seems like it just wasn't enough balls to go around. And you say, man, you went right back into the same situation. They already got John Brown, but it seems to work. I guess, like it says, the light skinned Cam Newton factor.
Yep.
He knows how to distribute it, the ball around better.
Yep. Yep. And yeah, I agree with both of y'all, what y'all said. As far as the Rams go, I am down on Robert Woods in this game too. I do believe it's going to be a tough day for him. And what I've noticed about the Rams is that lately, including I'd say from the second half of last year to this year, they just take what they could get. Like their offense is like, all right, you know what? It's gonna be a Higby day, or it's gonna be a Malcolm Brown day, or it's gonna be a Daryl Henderson day, or whatever, and it's not gonna be Robert Woods day. It's not.
Yeah.
How do you guys feel about the Rams running back situation, or would you play any of them this week? Or
I would roll with Henderson this week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this week. Yeah, I think they're gonna as soon as they have the all clear on Brown's hand or finger or whatever it is, he's gonna be right back in the mix. But I still don't like their uniforms. That's what I'm stuck
Oh
on.
man, no.
Like those iron-on numbers. We'll get into that next week when we, go over colors and numbers. But yo, I don't like it.
deep dive on the colors and numbers next week.
Yes, for sure.
gotcha. All right. Well, next game we got the Washington football team in Cleveland. Um, this game, I really like McLaurin again. I think
hmm
like he's going to continue. I mean, he's their only option as a wide receiver, so you can't go wrong with him. And building on that, I actually think Haskins is going to do a decent job this week. Against a tough, Cardinals team, I think he threw for 220 yards, no picks, had a touchdown also. So going against Cleveland, I feel pretty good about him this week. If you want to give him a chance, because Cleveland is a mess right now
Yeah.
on defense. So you might as well let him roll. And then, Gibson, he's one of my players on the rise. So
Mhm.
I think those three players, you could definitely get something out of them this week. And just kind of switching to the other side, I like Odell this week. I think you could play him, like Nick Chubb also. Only person I would maybe shy away from who had a decent week last week was Kareem Hunt.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I think this is a game where like Chubb will get maybe make all the big plays. So
Okay.
he's the only one I'm a little bit down on this week, and then I wouldn't touch anybody else on Cleveland. But I definitely like OBJ and Chubb to have good games this week.
Okay.
I think they'll score a little bit.
I'm gonna roll with Kareem Hunt in this game, man, just because he is just more utilized in the passing game as
Yeah.
well. So I think those two guys, you could start both of those guys, the
Mhm.
running backs, as well as OBJ. So.
Yeah, just don't mess with Austin Hooper.
Nah.
What? How bad is that?
Man, I'm gonna tell you something, man. I had a feeling about it because
Hmm.
Dirk Cutter is he is a tight end guy.
Mhm.
But he, man, I mean, you can see Hayden Hurst. I mean, we'll get to. Well, we
Mhm.
already talked about the Falcons game already, but he's already, looks like he's reaping some benefits.
Mhm.
The first time they had Dirk Cutter, they were, very active on tight end too. I think he just finds a way to get those guys freed up and give them some great looks. And I think Austin Hooper benefited from that, honestly. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I agree. I think tight end is like one of those positions where, like, I don't know, like some teams, like, I just think kind of like you said, they might go somewhere, they might be something, and then they go somewhere else, and they do absolutely nothing. So,
Yep.
Mhm.
All right.
all right, next game. So we got Tennessee, Minnesota. Um, so later, I'm going to come back to this because they have some players on their team that are fighting for a flex spot on my
Yeah.
squad this week. We'll get to that a little later.
Sure. Let's
Minnesota.
get to it now, man. Let's get to it now.
All right. So
Give the people what they want.
Yeah.
here's my dilemma right now. I have a league where I have not won a single, or no, this is the league actually where I'm doing well. I'm going for my third win in a row. Got every slot picked out except for my flex, and I was thinking about it this morning. Right now, I have Jonnu Smith holding that spot currently,
Right.
but also on Tennessee, I picked up Corey Davis, and then I believe it's Laviska Shenault
Yeah.
and Keelan Cole. So I have those four, and I'm trying to pick who is going to be my flex.
Mm.
Between those two players on the Jags and then these two on the Tennessee Titans. If you guys had to pick a flex out of that four,
Yeah.
who are you picking?
Well, for me, it would be between Cole and Smith, just because of utilization.
Yeah.
Um, I like Smith slightly
Mm-hmm.
because it finally looks like what we all thought he would turn into. Once given the chance to be the number one tight end,
Right.
and you know, yeah, Cole is he's doing his thing, but between those four, I would go with Smith because I have Smith.
Yeah. I think I like Jonnu Smith personally because I think that he's got the combination of the high floor and high ceiling. I feel like he's going to get you at least, he's going to get targeted heavily in this game with A.J. Brown still out. Corey Davis, his targets have been inconsistent. He was targeted well in the first week, and then the second week, not so much. John Smith's been super consistent with it in these first two games. I think Keelan Cole has been targeted a lot as well, and I think he will do well as well. I think you could go with either one of those guys, but I think Smith has the higher floor, and I think he's the safer bet. So that's just me.
Yeah, I'm hoping. I think just out of all them, like if somebody's gonna score a touchdown this week, I'm leaning towards John.
Okay.
So no. But then kind of just looking at the other side of the ball really quick, at Minnesota, Kirk Cousins, he was awful last week, like really bad. I don't think he's going to do that 2 weeks in a row,
right?
But it gives me, like, Minnesota just looks bad this year.
They do.
The last few years, they've been decent. They had, when they had Thielen, Diggs, and they had, 2 receivers going, but just Thielen right now, it's not looking like what I thought it would be. And especially going against like Tennessee, I don't know. I don't know if you can really sit Thielen because he still had 8 targets last week.
Yeah.
I think even though if you play him, I would expect much of the same. I think he's going to have a hard time. Cousins is really struggling. The only person I really like right now is Dalvin Cook.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, as someone who has Dalvin Cook, I've been a little disappointed so far because the offense has been so bad that he's suffering as well. And honestly speaking, if he doesn't get into the end zone, week 1 or week 2, he is pretty much a dud, either one of those weeks. So, but I'm going to keep plugging them in. I'm going to keep plugging in Thielen still. Tennessee, their defense hasn't been as good as I thought it would be. Like they were either that or like the Jacksonville Jaguars are like really, really good.
A lot better than
what it is. But, I thought the defense would be a little better. So I think that Thielen could still have a decent game this week.
Yeah. Okay. Well, just going on to this last game I have here. It's my Raiders against New England. And let me just quick plug for my team. I did not expect this. I think the last time we went 2-0, we went to the playoffs. So
okay,
I'm expecting big things from us down the line. But as far as a fantasy perspective, I mean, Jacobs, Waller, you got to play them. Especially after the games that they're coming off of and just the way our offense looks, I say you got to keep going to them. Hopefully Jacobs will actually score a touchdown this week and it'll be less Alec Ingold and Jalen Richard. But
I know, and Zay Jones.
And John Gruden, player coach.
With our offense, you just never know. My only hesitation this week, and he's been playing well, is David Carr. Just 3 games in a row seems, I don't know, like a little bit, and it is New England.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I think Belichick might have something for us this week. Like just from a fantasy perspective and from whether or not we'll win the game. This is going to be a tough one for us. I think Jacobs and Waller will still produce, but I envision Carr having a tough time. So as good as he's been these first 2 games, I would not play him this game. And then as far as the other side of the ball, I like Cam Newton. He's been really good this year. And I think after what happened last week, falling short, I think he's going to come out, firing again. So I really like Cam Newton this week. And the Raiders, I don't know, Drew Brees seems to be on a decline. I don't think our defense is that good. So I see Cam Newton, continuing what he's been doing. And I think Edelman will benefit from that. Other than that, their backfield is still a quandary, still can't figure it out. But I like Cam and Edelman this week, and I think it's going to be a really good game.
I agree with you. For the Raiders, man, I think it might be the soul-to-soul moment, man.
Mm.
Life back to reality, man, for David Carr this week. I'm down on him. And to be honest with you, I'm not even sure about Josh Jacobs. As a Josh Jacobs owner, I'm a little scared this week, and I'm following him closely because he was gimpy towards the end of that last game, and I would like to get a little more information on that.
Right.
Like New England's not a pushover team, so like I need to know, like, like how healthy is he? So I'm closely monitoring that, and depending on your situation, I could see myself reluctantly fading him this week, depending on
What?
what he's saying.
You don't mean that. Not in all the leagues. You don't mean that.
Not in all the leagues,
Oh,
but
okay.
there's a couple of. So my strategy, and it's looking real good this year, is that I loaded up on running backs. Just about every league that I was in, out of my first 4 picks, 3 of them were running backs,
Okay.
and I'm looking like a genius right now. So
Super.
even if I did fade him, I got somebody that is solid, like a James Robinson, So,
Okay.
but I'd have to make that decision, today.
Game time.
Yeah, game time.
Yeah.
All right. Well, moving on. You had anything else on this game, T? Okay. So moving on, this portion of games here, I like to call the garbage portion. Like there's a whole lot of trash in this portion of games. So we may go a little quick on these. Like for instance, the Giants and the 49ers.
Mm.
Darius Slayton, I would actually give him a shot just from the sheer volume that I would imagine him seeing. Um, Sterling Shepard is out. The elephant in the room, Saquon Barkley out. I just feel like they're just going to be throwing it a lot. And there could be maybe it's hard to say garbage time because San Francisco's so depleted too that I just see opportunities where they'll be throwing the ball a lot. And I'll go with Slayton and I'll go with McKinnon on the 49er side. And whoever is starting at tight end for the 49ers.
Mm-hmm.
So,
whoever that is.
That's all I got for this game. So,
Any Deion Lewis?
No.
This week?
I'm not messing with anybody in that Giants backfield this week because I just don't know. I don't know what we're going to get. So they picked up Devontae. Will he play? I don't know. Wayne Gallman, he was inactive last time, but he might be the guy this time. So I don't want to mess with it.
No.
That's just me. Any of y'all got any more takes on this game here?
No.
Okay.
Again, this game is brought to you by Univision, La Basura Football.
Yes, absolutely. The next game is the Bengals and the Eagles. And this is more trash. I think Mixon will have a decent game. He has to have a decent game. He has actually been the most traded player in fantasy football this week. I'm being patient. I got him in 2 leagues. So I'm going to roll with him. I don't really like the passing game for the Bengals in this game. The Eagles, I'm still not sure if they have a good passing defense or okay passing defense or not. So I really don't want to risk it. And on the Eagles side, I just got to roll with the tight ends and Miles Sanders.
Yeah.
I think Carson Wentz might have an all right game passing to the tight ends, but I can just think of a ton of options better than Carson Wentz this week. So that's really all I got for those 2 games.
Sure.
Y'all sound like y'all ain't feeling these games either. I feel you, man.
I mean, it's just not much there, but it's one thing to be the 49ers and be depleted on from injury. It's another thing to be the Eagles and be depleted because of talent.
Right.
You know, it's
Yeah,
just
absolutely. But so that really wraps things up for part one of our week three preview, starts and sits. So tune in, continue to subscribe and listen, and catch us on Spotify. Make sure you like our videos and catch us on Twitter, Instagram. Twitter, we try to give you, a couple of tips as the week goes on. Who you may want to start, who you may want to sit. And just in case there's any late breaking news, somebody gets a punctured lung or anything like that, we'll be
I
able
don't mean to laugh.
to get y'all. You know what I mean? So
Right.
we got y'all. But yeah, so we're gonna hit y'all again tomorrow with part two of our week three starts and sits. So until then, peace.
Jeez.
Later.